I don't remember the last time I did a compression test on my Blue Black 124's engine. I don't know if I've ever done one at all, to be honest. Today I wanted to give that a go and see what its state of wear is like. Now, to do the compression test, the engine must be at operating temperature. So get it up to around 80 degrees before you commence this task. Now, I do completely and utterly disable my EZL module by disconnecting it way more than necessary, but these things are expensive and I don't want to take any chances, so I remove all connections. Next, we want to disable the fuel pumps, and on these cars with a mass relay, it's situated back here, and it's got this funky knob on the top to unlock it and remove it. One thing you may not have been aware of, in this tray that hides the ECU is this nice little impression that holds that relay from sliding around, so when you put it aside, it's safe. Of course, we want to get the spark plugs out so we can fit our compression gauge to the engine. None of this is rocket science, it's basically just removing the plugs now. While they're coming out, I can have a quick look at them and see what the combustion quality is like, and the spark plugs. And it's looking okay for an engine with 190,000 kilometers on it. There is oil wicking down the threads of my spark plugs because I'm due for another valve cover job. Number 5's spark plug well was by far the worst because this spark plug was basically drowning in oil. So I'm going to have to reseal my valve cover as part of my next lot of maintenance on this car. The paint is starting to look atrocious. I may actually repaint that valve cover as well, or I may get it powder coated. I'll decide at the time. All in all, the plugs are actually looking okay, so I'm happy with that. Basically, these are the longest term plugs I've had in this car now. So in my Blue Black 124, I do try to keep things original. These spark plugs are F9DC0 of old school manufacture, they're new old stock. My manual specifies that Australia should use F9DC. I'm not sure what the difference is with that and mine that ends with 0. Anyway, the Bosch sparkplugs.net cross-reference website suggests that a modern available spark plug to replace that is F8DC4. If I didn't have a lifetime supply of new old stock, original period correct Bosch spark plugs, I would probably prefer to use NGK non-resistor plugs if I didn't have those to choose from. But I'm okay for my entire rest of life with these 124s. I'll never have to worry about using incorrect spark plugs. Now it's time to do the compression test. Now I'm on my own today, so I rigged up this little arrangement here so that I can see through the windscreen under the gap of the hood and see when I can stop cranking to see what the figure is. While we are cranking the engine to do the compression test, the throttle is to be held wide open. And that worked quite successfully, except my compression tester has reached end of life. It's now done the unthinkable. The hose is now spinning on the connections, which is an absolute nightmare when you're dealing with an engine with deep spark plugs. Don't worry, this did cause some heart failure temporarily, but I did get it out. Once they start doing this, don't risk it anymore, just throw it away and buy a new one, because this will end in tears at some stage. When you've got the figures for each cylinder, write them down and keep a note of them for future reference so you can see how the car is going. Of course, reassembly is a reversal of the disassembly. It's pretty straightforward.